Tonight, the diner is almost empty. Two truckers sit in the corner nursing beers, laughing too loud. A college kid hunches over textbooks, headphones on, world off. Aisha glances at the clock, 10:17 p.m. Her shift ends at midnight, but the bus ride home will take another hour. She's already calculating. Rent is due in 6 days. Jamal needs new shoes, and her boss, Mr. Harlan, has been watching her like a hawk. Sales are down, he says. She's been late twice because the bus broke down. One more mistake, he warned this morning, and she's gone. She can't lose this job. It's the only thing standing between her little boy and uncertainty. The door suddenly flies open with a violent gust of wind. Rain blasts in, and an old man stumbles through, soaked completely. His thin coat is plastered to his bony frame, silver hair dripping, cane slipping on the wet floor. He shivers hard, lips almost blue. The truckers glance up, smirk, and go back to their drinks. The student doesn't even look, but Aisha moves before she thinks. She grabs the cleanest towel from under the counter and hurries over. "Sir, oh my lord, come in. Come sit right here by the heater." Her voice is warm, steady, the kind that makes strangers feel seen. She guides him gently to the corner booth, helps him ease down, wraps the towel around his shoulders. His hands shake as he tries to dry his face. "Thank you, miss," he whispers, voice fragile. "My car broke down a few blocks away. Thought I could walk it." Stupid old man. Aisha shakes her head. Nothing stupid about needing help. She disappears behind the counter and returns with a big mug of hot chocolate. Extra marshmallows because something in his eyes tells her he needs sweetness tonight. "On the house," she says with a smile that reaches her tired eyes. He looks at her like she's an angel, and for the first time in hours, he stops shivering. His name is Elias Whitaker. He tells her quietly that he's a widower, lives alone, hasn't seen his daughter in years. "The rain reminds me of my wife," he says softly. "She used to pull me outside to dance in it when we were young and broke and happy." Aisha listens, really listens, leaning on the table like they're old friends. She tells him about Jamal drawing rockets on every piece of paper he finds, how he says good night to the moon every evening. Elias smiles, a real one. And for a moment, the storm outside feels far away, but kindness has a price. The phone rings sharply. It's Harlan, checking the register from home. "Why is tonight so slow, Aisha?" And don't blame the weather. She tries to explain there's barely anyone in, but he cuts her off. "Get them spending, or don't bother coming back tomorrow." Click. Her stomach drops. Then Elias reaches for his pockets and freezes. "My wallet. I left in the car." His face falls with shame. The truckers overhear and chuckle. Aisha doesn't hesitate. "Don't you worry for 1 second. This is my gift to you tonight." She even calls a cab, pays the driver $20 from her tip jar, the last of her cash for the week. As Elias climbs in, he touches her hand gently. "You're an angel, Aisha. God bless you." The cab pulls away into the rain, red lights disappearing. Alone now, Aisha cleans in silence. The missing $20 burns in her mind. Jamal's shoes, rent, Harlan's threat. She locks up at midnight and steps into the storm herself. No umbrella, no cab money left. Rain soaks her instantly, but she walks head high. At home, the apartment is cold, ceiling dripping into pots. Jamal sleeps curled under a thin blanket, clutching his stuffed rocket. He stirs when she kisses his forehead. "Mommy, did you save anyone today?" He mumbles half asleep. Aisha's throat tightens. "Maybe, baby," she whispers. "Maybe." She lies down fully clothed, exhausted, tears mixing with rainwater on her pillow. The storm finally eases outside, like the world itself is holding its breath. Little does she know, that one act of pure heart has already started changing everything. The next morning breaks bright and cold, sunlight pouring through Aisha's thin curtains like hope she doesn't dare feel yet. She kisses Jamal goodbye, promises pancakes when she gets home, and races for the bus. Her heart pounds the whole ride. Today could be the day she loses everything. At the diner. Harlan is already waiting, arms crossed, face thunderous. Registers short $20 from last night. Care to explain? Aisha's voice shakes as she tells him about the old man, the hot chocolate, the cab. It was the right thing to do. Harlan's eyes narrow. Right thing doesn't pay bills. This is a business, Aisha. Pack your stuff. You're done. The words hit like a slap. Tears burn her eyes as she pulls off her apron, folds it slowly. The other waitresses look away, helpless. She's gathering her purse when the door chimes. In walks Elias Whitaker, but not the soaked, frail man from last night. He's in a sharp, tailored suit, posture straight, eyes clear and strong. A young woman in a crisp blazer follows with a briefcase. The entire diner goes silent. Harlan's mouth actually drops open. Elias walks straight to Aisha, smile warm and steady. I couldn't stop thinking about you all night. His voice carries easily now. You treated me like a person when I felt invisible. You gave me warmth when I was freezing. Not just the drink, but your heart. He turns to the room. Most people looked through me last night. You saw me. Then the truth comes out. Elias Whitaker isn't just any old man. He's the Elias Whitaker, quiet billionaire, owner of half the city's buildings, including this very diner. He explained softly that after losing his wife, he started walking the streets in old clothes, testing if kindness still existed in the world. Almost no one ever stopped. Until Aisha. The lawyer steps forward, hands Harlan an envelope. Mr. Whitaker is purchasing this diner immediately. Harlan stammers, face pale. He's drowning in debt, and this buyout saves him too. But Elias isn't finished. He looks at Aisha, eyes shining. You're not fired. You're the new manager. This place needs someone with your heart leading it. Aisha can't breathe. Tears spill freely now, but they're different tears. Why me? She whispers. Elias takes her hands gently. Because you showed love when you had every reason not to. And I want to make sure you and that little astronaut of yours never have to worry again. He tells her he's setting up a full scholarship fund for Jamal. College, whatever he dreams of. The diner erupts in cheers. Even the truckers from last night stand and clap, faces red with regret. Harlan mutters an awkward apology, voice thick. Aisha just stands there, overwhelmed, as Elias hugs her like family. That afternoon, everything changes. Aisha steps into her new role with quiet strength, raises staff wages, adds healthier options to the menu, turns the diner into a real community spot. Elias becomes a regular, telling stories that make everyone laugh and cry. One evening, he invites Aisha and Jamal to his big, quiet house for dinner. Jamal stares at the stars through Elias's telescope, eyes huge. You're like the grandpa I always wanted, he says simply. Elias wipes his eyes, smiling wider than he has in years. Months pass. The diner thrives. Aisha stands taller, worries lighter. Jamal's drawings cover the walls. Rockets, stars, and now a new figure. An old man with a cane, holding hands with a waitress and a little boy. Sometimes when rain taps the windows, Aisha pauses and smiles. One stormy night, one choice to care. It didn't just save her job. It gave her a family she never expected. And it reminded everyone who hears the story. Kindness, real kindness, always comes back. Bigger, brighter, when you least expect it. The sun rose sharp and golden the next morning, cutting through the clouds like a promise after the storm. Aisha woke before her alarm, heart already racing. She kissed Jamal's warm forehead, whispered she'd be home soon with pancakes, and hurried to catch the bus. Every bump in the road felt like a countdown to disaster. She stepped into Joe's all-night diner at 6:58 a.m., apron in hand, forcing a smile. Harlan was already there, leaning over the register with a scowl that could curdle milk. His eyes locked on her the second the door chimed. Register's short $20 from last night, he said without greeting. You gonna tell me why? Aisha's mouth went dry. She told him everything. The old man soaked to the bone, the hot chocolate, the cab fare she paid from her own tips. He had nothing, Mr. Harlan. I couldn't let him walk in that rain. Harlan's face turned redder. This ain't a soup kitchen, Aisha. It's a business. I warned you. Pack your things. You're fired. The words landed heavy, knocking the air from her lungs. Tears stung instantly, but she refused to let them fall in front of him. She untied her apron slowly, folded it with shaking hands, and started gathering her few belongings. A photo of Jamal taped inside her locker, a spare hair tie, her name tag. The other waitresses watched in silence, eyes full of pity but mouths shut tight. She was halfway to the door, purse slung over her shoulder, when the bell chimed again. Elias Whitaker walked in, not the trembling, drenched stranger from the night before. This Elias stood tall in a perfectly tailored navy suit. Silver hair, neatly combed, came polished like it was part of the outfit. His eyes carried the same quiet sadness, but now they held power too. A sharp-dressed young woman followed close behind, carrying a leather briefcase. The entire diner froze. Harlan's mouth actually fell open. Elias didn't look at him yet. He walked straight to Aisha, gentle smile spreading across his face. "There you are," he said softly, voice warm and steady. "I haven't stopped thinking about you since last night." Aisha blinked, confused. "Mr. Whitaker, what you gave me more than a drink and a ride," he said, cutting her off kindly. "You gave me dignity when I felt invisible. You saw me, really saw me, when no one else bothered." He turned slightly, addressing the whole room now, but his words stayed intimate, like he was speaking only to her. "After my wife died, I started walking these streets dressed like a forgotten man, just to see if kindness was still alive out here. Most people looked away. Some laughed. You? You wrapped a towel around my shoulders and listened like my stories mattered." Harlan shifted uncomfortably, sensing the shift in the air. Elias nodded to the woman beside him. She stepped forward and placed a briefcase on the counter, clicking it open. Thick documents slid out. "My name is Elias Whitaker," he announced calmly. "And as of this morning, I own this building and this diner." Harlan went pale. "Mr. Whitaker, sir, Elias raised a hand, polite but firm. "You've run this place into debt for years. I'm buying it outright. You'll walk away with enough to clear what you owe and start fresh. But there are conditions." Then he turned fully to Aisha, eyes shining with something deeper than gratitude. "You're not leaving this diner, Aisha. You're running it. Starting today, you're the manager." Aisha's knees nearly buckled. "What? Why me?" "Because you have the heart this place has been missing," he said simply. "You lead with kindness, and kindness builds loyalty. I want this diner to feel like home again, for the staff, for the customers, for the neighborhood." Tears spilled down her cheeks now, unstoppable. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Elias replied, smiling. She nodded, unable to speak that he wasn't finished. "And one more thing. That little boy of yours, the one who talks to the moon and draws rockets? I've set up a trust fund for his education, preschool through college. Whatever he dreams, money won't stand in his way." Aisha covered her mouth, sobbing quietly. The waitresses started clapping. Even the early morning regulars joined in, some wiping their eyes. Harlan stood there stunned, then muttered a rough, "I'm sorry, Aisha. I was wrong." Over the following weeks, everything transformed. Aisha took charge with quiet confidence. She raised wages for the staff, updated the menu with fresh, affordable options, painted the walls a warm color, and hung Jamal's rocket drawings near the counter. The diner filled up fast. Word spread about the new manager with a big heart. Elias became a daily regular, always in the same booth by the heater. He'd tell stories about his wife, about young love, about believing in people. Jamal came after school sometimes, sitting on Elias's lap while they looked at star charts on his tablet. One night, Jamal hugged him tight and said, "You're the best grandpa ever." Elias held him close, eyes wet, whispering, "And you're the grandson I always prayed for." Months later, on a quiet evening when soft rain tapped the windows again, Aisha stood at the door watching the street lights glow. The diner was packed, laughter filling the air, staff smiling real smiles. She thought back to that stormy night, how one choice, one moment of choosing kindness over caution, changed everything. Not just her job, not just her life, but the lives of everyone around her. Because real kindness doesn't just help one person. IT ripples, IT returns, IT builds families where there were none. And sometimes on the hardest nights, it saves you right when you're about to fall.